Number one, you better be a good person. You better recognize that if you have skeletons, you better own them or know that they're going to be vulnerable, because that ship has sailed. This is something I started talking about in 2008 in Crush It. It obviously is now very real because of all the stuff that's happened with the Me Too movement, which is phenomenal. That's number one. Number two, you have to have empathy for your audience. If you're the kind of person that gets upset that Johnny Pants 99 says you're ugly or you're stupid, you might as well close up shop now. I have empathy for people that think I'm a snake oil salesman or full of crap or not good or who knows, or I curse too much. Like, you have to have empathy, because that's what allows you to move forward instead of being combative with the audience, which is your ultimate asset. Number three, you have to respect context. The same picture does not work across Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, and you have to have understanding of the context of the psychology of the person when they're on that platform to make the content pop and resonate. So the religion of context, not just content, is essential. You know, I think reputation is based on truth. And so in today's world where there's nowhere to hide, instead of hiring a PR person in 1994 and getting the right articles, I think it's just delivering. Crush it for your employees, crush it for your clients, and fundamentally give without expectation. You know, go give a keynote at a college with no expectation. Answer those 10 emails of people reaching out to you that have nothing to offer you, and just give, because they actually may have a ton to offer you. What I love is that reputation is becoming a more transparent game. And so the only way to build a reputation is to do the right things. So over deliver for the ones that have something or the ones that don't have something. Way too many entrepreneurs are way too calculated about what's in it for me. If you can reverse that and think about what's in it for them, you'll find out that a lot of things are in it for you. And I want to talk about self-awareness. Self-awareness is massively important. If I could wish anything on anybody besides health, it would be self-awareness. I think the reason that I've had a happy life and some success is because of self-awareness. It allows me to recognize the 99% of things that I suck crap at. And what's happening right now is, because it's so easy to get an at-bat and to start a business and to be a startup founder, so many people are doing it, right? That same gift is actually potentially not a curse, because it's a tremendous experience and it's not like you're doing anything wrong. But I do implore everybody, as you get excited about this week and everything that's going on, and definitely what's gonna start happening in this town, to really give a lot of thought to what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I implore you to really, if you're lucky enough to have self-awareness, or if you're lucky enough to be comfortable with who you are and you're not in the business of lying to yourself, and I think everybody is a little bit, including myself, but if you're good at it, I really implore you to triple down and quadruple down and 7x down on your strengths. The number one mistake that people are making in life today, and it's just so unbelievably obvious, is they're living life in the middle. You know, 99.9% of the people that watch or listen to this content are living in the middle. They're hedging and making excuses and justifying why they are not 100% happy. It's because, like every other person out there besides a few select people, they are living in this middle ground. And I just say fuck the middle. And when I think about how you win in business, in entrepreneurship, but most of all in life, it's by understanding the macro and micro opportunities and executions. If you really understand how to break through, how to be in that zone, how to really, really, really win the game, it comes down to a strategy that looks like this. Are you balancing your ego with your humility? Are you balancing your ego with your humility? Do you equally think that you're the greatest of all time and you can do it, and that also you're a piece of shit and nobody cares when you're gone? Figure out who you are, don't apologize for who you are, and then become even greater than you naturally are at what you are. I think that people are keeping very negative people around them, and if they aspire to change their situation, it's imperative to audit the 7 to 10 people that are around you. And the reason I go after a friend or a parent, I mean, in the details of that headline, I said, hey, you may have to audit your mom. And not that I want you to never talk to your mom again, but you may want to take a step back. And I've done this for friends and acquaintances, and it's a very painful, eye-opening experience to realize, wait a minute, my dad actually doesn't want me to be successful because he's not happy. And you know, whether you call it misery loves company, and it's not like parents are bad people, it's a human trait. It's just a thing. So to me, in a world where it's much harder to get rid of your older sister forever, it might be intriguing to say, hey, I've had this friend who spends all their time making sure I'm not going to the next level, and it really came around the fact of who listens to you when you complain. The only groups of people that will listen to you are the people that have to, your core family, and your other loser friends, right? Like the other people who also want to complain about their boss. And yeah, I thought it was actually a very good, emotional, not willing to be talked about, non-politically correct thing to say, maybe if you got rid of one friend or spent a lot less time with one friend who's a real drag and a negative force, and added a positive person in your office as somebody you now, if you switched it from 80 days hanging out with your negative friend and 1 day with your office acquaintance who's super positive, to 4 days with your negative friend and 12 with this new person, not only do I believe, I've physically watched me mentor people in my organizations to a totally different life on that thesis.
The one thing that I ask you to do is to not look back and regret that you wavered on the moment that was available to you. The only thing that's not fun, the only thing you regret is the things that you don't do. It's just the way it is. Like, even if you think of random dumb stuff, like not asking out that person in high school or stuff, this stuff lingers. It's the stuff that you don't do that bothers you. And so for the purebred entrepreneurs in here that haven't decided to make that leap or take that at bat, I implore you to do so right away, because this window closes too.
Just speak your truth, right? Speak your truth, like including that you have depression, or that you don't know what you're doing, or that you're really good at cutting hair, or that you love the Smurfs. I think the truth is the biggest win, right? And I think that for me, that is really played out in our society today. There's no more hiding. The internet is all encompassing, and nobody's gonna be able to front. Like, if you're not motivated and optimistic, motivational content's not gonna work for you. You know, if you aren't thoughtful and smart about, you know, sports, you're not gonna win. You can only win on two things: the thing that you understand the best, or the thing that you're most passionate or authentic about. Those are the only two winning formulas. I think too many people wanna fake it till they make it, or project someone they're not, which is why 99% of people are losing. Well, that's the whole game's broken because everybody's too tied up into other people's opinions. I only care about my opinion of myself. And I care what my mom and wife and kids and the world think, just not as much as I care about the way I think about myself. And that's it, just that slight advantage. And I think most of you care more about what other people think than what you think about yourself, and or you actually don't feel good about yourself, right? The thing that made me smile, when you just introduced me, you said, I'm one of the most motivational people in the world, comma, and everybody I know that's met him said he's the nicest guy. There's no comparison to the better feeling of people that have actually gotten to know me say that versus millions, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands thinking I'm the coolest. And that's it. I mean, that's it. And that's why it's easy for me to feel good about myself, right? And so I think a lot of people need to start with themselves. Maybe the reason they don't have more confidence in themselves or care about their opinion about themselves versus others is because they know they're doing things they don't like. So they need to work on that. I mean, look, if I'm 20 years old and I know what my goals are, I'm committed to them blindly, is I guess my answer. I think the biggest thing that I'm starting to recognize and feel is I'm just binary, black and white. Switch on or switch off, hustle mode on. I mean, the amount of people that are half pregnant, kind of into it, sorta, shoulda, coulda, little, kinda. I just think it's all in. And so, to be very frank with you, brother, I'm gonna pull up your account. Let's see if I could. The Oyster River Company, that's cool. I would, you know, my man, I would just go all in. I mean, at 20, the hell, you have your whole life in front of you, and why not try to achieve greatness ASAP? Like, go for it. Like, just go for it blindly. I wouldn't judge myself. I would use my fresh, naive eyes. Experience is a gift and a real leverage, but naivete and blind faith and not knowing the rules is also a real advantage. And so if I was 20, I would just get real serious on my naivete and go all in blindly, run through the wall and get it done. I put in the work, man. You're 20, you can live on a lot less sleep at 20 than you can at 41. D-Rock and I on our back-to-back 3-hour days, it's kind of tough, a little rugged. I'd go all f***ing in, man. What's really empowering and what's holding so many people back here is entitlement. You feel like somebody owes you something because something went wrong somewhere along the way. I don't. I actually think whatever went wrong for you is the best shit that ever happened to you, because adversity is absolutely the foundation of success. The other thing I know is I have bad news. Nobody gives a f*** about your problems. Look, 99% of people give up at the proper time. 99. But 1% of people give up a week before they would have made it. I think you look at past results to tell you future results, but other times things turn. You know, it's a feeling one has to know when it's time in life in general, and I think some people are good at it, I think some people are bad at it. And so what I would say is, the most important thing that I think about is you would never know the alternative. If you stop because it hasn't been working and you've been patient for 3.5 years, but now you think you've crossed over into delusion, you'll just never know. And I'm okay with that. There's so many things that I could have done, so many paths that I could have taken. Some people are pessimistic, look at glass half empty, and always think back, I should have married that person, I should have took that job, I should have invested in that stock. I just don't have that gear, and I would spend much more time on having the gear of being optimistic and knowing that you can't control the past, or that you won't know the alternative of your decisions, and that makes you more optimistic and positive and happy and go forward and faster. I think it's about the mindset of knowing that you would have never known otherwise, more so than what's the right time or not. Nobody can answer you, not that, not me, not nobody. You just have to answer for yourself, play the hand, and move on, period, end of story, the end. Excuses. If you want to achieve what you want to achieve at the highest level, this is a binary game. Either you're in the yes, I will figure this out business, or no, this won't work because. Too many of you are stuck in this is not going to work because. You're still bitter, you're upset. You're still upset that girl broke up with you. You're upset, that's why it's not happening. You're upset because your parents didn't have any money and you have to pay for it yourself. Like, you're upset. And you're in the, I can't have this work out because you actually got upset that the number was 18 hours a day you have time to do, instead of realizing that's not what I fucking gave a fuck about. It's just maximizing what you can do while you're awake. So whether you're sleeping 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 hours, that's fine. I'm just interested in what you're doing in the 14, 15, 16 hours you have to do something about it. But what I'm way more interested in is, why do you have so much poison in you? Why do you have so much negativity in you? Why are you losing? Why is that your mindset, that as soon as you see anything, forget about my content, I'm a little bit weird dude. I went out and looked at what you did other places. You're just in the no business. You're in the defense. You're in the I can't because business. And that's a fucking losing game. So please use this little backseat rant to figure out what's inside of you that's making you go there, and fix that. Because all my content, all these courses, all your business ideas, all your wants and ambitions aren't gonna mean jack if you don't fix that.